So in this video, we are going to look at task 2, coordinate planes and graphing. And this is just reviewing how to graph coordinate points on a coordinate plane. This should be review, but if you are struggling with it, please reach out because this is going to be kind of a quick review. Now for this, I'm going to do this dual page, so it will be a little bit harder to read, but it's the only way that I could get the instructions and the graph next to each other. So we have task 2. This is in the packet. It's coordinate planes and graphing. Sorry, on your packet, it's task 3, the coordinate planes and graphing. And so we're going to review graphing ordered pairs. So there's a few things we have to label on the graph paper. So first, we want to create and label the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. So you want to draw a straight line for the horizontal axis somewhere and a straight line for the vertical. So vertical just means it's going up and down. That would be 1. And then the horizontal would be left and right. So I'm going to draw 2 lines, the bold black lines, so you can see them. So those are my axes. As a reminder, the vertical axis up and down is the y-axis, and the horizontal axis left and right is your x-axis. So then we're going to label the origin or the starting point for all graphing. So the origin is this middle point here. And so this represents the origin. This is the coordinates 0, 0. And so we start all of our graphing from that point. Okay, so one thing I'm also going to label is just the quadrants. It doesn't say anything about that, but sometimes I will refer to them because it's just easier. So when we do quadrants, we start in this upper right quadrant. This is considered quadrant 1. And then we go counterclockwise. So this is quadrant 2. This is quadrant 3. And then down here is quadrant 4. And for the quadrant, the signs are all the same for the coordinates. So in quadrant 1, because we're going right, that means our x values are positive. And because we're going up from the origin, it means our y values are positive. So the coordinates in quadrant 1 are both positive. For quadrant 2, from the origin, we go left. So that means the first coordinate is negative and we go up. So the second coordinate is positive for y. And then we have quadrant 3. So we're going both left and down. So both the coordinates are negative. And then for quadrant 4, we're going right and down. So x is always first, so that would be positive, and then our y is second, which is negative. So a point, just as a reminder, always goes x, comma, y. So our first coordinate is the x value, and our second coordinate is the y value. So it says label the scale on the x and y axis. In other words, does each line represent 1 unit or 2 units? So if you're not given a scale, we usually assume it's 1, but you should mark it. I'm going to go by 2s just to make it easier. So I'm going to do 2 blocks is equal to 1. And so this way would be going negative. And then if I go up, this is my y value. So I'm going to have 1, 2, and if I go up, it's positive. And then if I go down from the origin, it's negative. So that would be -1. This would be -2. You don't have to label all of them, but just kind of getting a good idea. That would be -4. Okay. So then it says the units to the left of 0 on the x-axis and the units below 0 on the y-axis are both negative. Your x-axis should look like a number line, and the origin really is just the intersection of the 2 number lines. Then it says, finally, the first number of the coordinate gives the number of units to the right if it's positive, or to the left if it's negative from 0, 0. The second number gives the number of units up if the number is positive, or down if the number is negative. And if one of the coordinates is 0, the point lies on that axis. If the first coordinate is 0, the point lies on the x-axis, and if the second is 0, the point lies on the y-axis. And the origin has the coordinates 0, 0 that lies on the x and y-axis. So just in general, again, a point always goes x, comma, y. The x value is always telling me whether I go left or right. If it's positive, we go right. If it's negative, we go left. Our y value is always telling us up or down. If it's positive, we go up, and if it's negative, we go down. And again, we always start from the origin. Okay, so we're going to plot these points. So we're going to write some instructions for plotting the ordered pairs by filling in the appropriate number of steps and then circling the directions. So we have A is 2, 4. So that means we're going to go blank spaces to the right or left. So we're going to go 2 spaces because my first coordinate tells me left or right. So I'm going to go 2 spaces. Because it's positive, I'm going to go to the right. And then I'm going to go 4 spaces up because it's positive. So I would go for this point, A, we're going to go 2 spaces. So remember, I went by 2. So this is 1, 2, and then I'm going to go up 4. So I'm going to go 2 spaces to the right and then up to 4. And that's my point A. And we should always label our points. And we're going to do a lot of graphing in unit 2. So this is important. Okay, so for B, we're going to go 3. That's my X value. 5 is my Y value. So this is telling me I'm going 3 right. And then because it's a positive 5, I'm going 5 up. And so this point, I would go 3 to the right. And then I would go 5 up. I'm going to go 3 to the right and then to 5 up. And that would be my point B. Okay, so for C, we have 2, -4. So again, my X is 2, my Y is -4. So I'm going to go 2 spaces to the right, and then I'm going to go 4 spaces down. And so I'm going to go 2 spaces to the right, and then I'm going to go 4 spaces down to this -4. And this would be my point C. And so I'm going to do that for all of these. So I want you guys to try these on your own. I'm going to actually add 2 more. So we want to do 0, let's say 4, and then we'll say -3, 0. Okay, and then it's the same directions here. Blank spaces, right or left, and then blank spaces up or down, and then this one would be blank spaces right or left. Okay, so let's just do these 2, and then I'll have you do D through H. You can pause the video, and then once you're done with them, you can unpause and then check your answers. Okay, so for I for 0, 4, it means X is 0 and Y is 4. So that means we would go 0 spaces. It doesn't matter whether you say right or left. We're really just going like 0 spaces left or right. And then because it's Y is 4, then we're going 4 spaces up. Okay, so that would look like my X value would be 0. So I'm not going to go right or left, but I'm going to go up to 4. And that would be my point I. And then J would be -3, 0. So I'm going 3 spaces left. And then I'm going 0 spaces. Again, you can really say up or down, but I'm just going 0 spaces. So I would be going 3 spaces to the left. Okay. So that would be to here, and then I wouldn't be going up and down. So that one is going to be on the x-axis. So when the Y value is 0, we're on the x-axis, and when the X value is 0, we're on the y-axis. So again, I'm going to have you pause, try D through H, And then you can check that when you're done. Okay. So I have all of them filled in, the direction that you go and how many spaces. And then I have all the points plotted and labeled here. So you can take a look at all of those points. And then if you have questions, you can reach out to me and let me know.